Uh, Good evening. The Who's today were on at Wyong. The track was good. The rail was in the normal position. There was a steady nor'easter, um, which didn't have any effect on any runner. And there was no bias on the track. 7 races. Interestingly, not one leader won. Um, Close to the favourite in the last race, led on the fence. The winner finished up getting inside and halfway up the straight. As I say, it ran second. No leaders won, but they did come along the fence like the last winner and a couple of others as well, and also swooped from last with a bit of pace on. So even though no leaders won around a tight track like Wyong, it didn't say that the fence was no good. There was nothing wrong with it at all. The first race, well, we saw some ordinary performances here. On the flux screen, it said 113.7. In the ring, you could, well, when they jumped, there was 3%. These were the SPs when they jumped. $6.50 pure hustle, unlabelled. They returned the favourite $1.35. It was $1.45. You couldn't get someone to say a brick to $4.50 on. $5.50 the winner, and 25 to 1 a pony, the bottom one, Ali Miss, about 3 odd percent, a little bit more. Kutchin, the Gay had the favourite and the third pick, Pure Hustle. Kutchin Skaya, well, it'll be flat out ever winning a race, won't it? It went straight to the lead, only an average pace, with the roughie sitting on its outside. Nash said it's raced a bit dour and is looking for extra distance, and he said he was beaten before the turn. It wouldn't have won if it cut across the middle. Likewise, the stablemate Pure Hustle settled down a clear last, has a habit of missing the kick, and again it went terrible. Got beat 8.8 lengths. Sitting outside the favourite, as I say, was the roughie in the field, Ali Miss, turning for home. Sitting behind the pair was the second favourite here, the Princess, trained by Waller. Went past them in one stride, gave them windburn, won by 4.8 lengths. I'd like to run the race over again. You'd lay twos on the winner. Well, it'd be $1.45. It'd be $1.45, and Kuchinskaya would be. What price would it be? You couldn't find a taker for it. Anyway, that's what happens in this game. Race 2 on the flux screen, 108.4, 101 in the marketplace. And there are a few runners like the first race that put their hand up and said, we are very ordinary netties. One of them being Montashan. They said the ground was a bit too firm for it. It got outside the lead by the time they turned for home. Hadn't spent any petrol. It was a very ordinary run. And another one that put his hand up and said, I'm not much good, is Black Jag, who beat at home at Newcastle last start when they ran second and third. And it hadn't spent a penny in the run. It was entitled to round the winner up when they turned for home, but couldn't. And also Cantonese. Well, he spent a little bit of petrol in the run on it, but it only plugged to the line as well. The winner of the race was French Gift, settled down in last posse, ridden by the apprentice 3 kilo A Stokes. This is A Stokes. She took off, made a run coming down the side, which was similar to when she won on the heavy track at Wyong a couple of starts ago, and she'd hit the lead before the bend, but well off the fence, and but kept on going, and held Black Jag at bay to win by 0.3 of a length. They were all very, very disappointing, the runners in the market in that race. Montashan was very hard to lay. Started $4, opened up $3 and got to 4. There was a bit of money for Black Jag when it got to $3.70. Opened up $3 equal favourite, and it got back into $3.50 when they jumped. There was a little bit of money for Dawn Fire Dancer. I laid 3,150. It's the biggest bet I laid in the race. Angelora, a little bit of money, $17 into 14. and they took $4 Cantonese at one stage into 350, back out to 370 when they jumped. That's the race, not worth talking about. Third race, 104 on the screen, only 96% in the marketplace. Nash was able to give the favourite Smart Patrol a beautiful ride to get it home, showed all of his expertise, jumped it out, was trying to hold the fence, plenty of speed on the outside of him, with the horse that ran second booked out. He let him cross him and then got off his heels turning for home. He ace-deuced him to beat him by 0.4 of a length, and booked out had to go forward from that run, from that alley B shin. He would have been pratted wide, and so there's no fault of his. But the ride of the winner was good, as I say, and carved them up, ran third in the race. It was about 0.6 of the length. The margin's 0.4, 0.6. It came from back in the field and sailed down the outside, but was more or less never going to win. It was a funny race. There was one runner extremely well backed in this race, Darcy's Money. I didn't want to miss it. I bet $8. First bet I wrote in the book was 2,100 to 300. Averaged right out. They did take $4.20 off you and $4.40 towards the finish. Started $4. Copped a bit of a prat at the start. Settled well back in the field. Plugged down the outside. Well, made up plenty of ground, but it was never going to win after they'd gone halfway. The winner, as I say, they crossed the line. Between the first 10 runners, there's only 3.8 lengths, and run that race over again, and you get a few different results. Gunner's Babe missed a kick hopelessly from barrier one, finished up running last, but it wouldn't have mattered if it did jump, still wouldn't have won. And that's about all you'd say there. Run the race over again, as I say, they're a poor lot, and you would get a different result. Race 4, and now the flux screen. The flux screen only said 98.6. 98.6 the flux screen. So you can imagine what we gave, 89 in the marketplace. Not worth a caser. And the winner, $4 given, started 6 to 4. $4 into $2.50. One of the pros, 2,600 to 1,000 is all I wanted to bet him. But then they took the $3.30, $3.10, the $3, and they killed you for $2.80. Started $2.50, and it was ridden by Mrs. J. Duggan, the 3 kilo girl. She settled back in last position or second last position on the fence. She copped a bit of a suspension out of the race when she turned for home, going in between runners. They were all gone at the time, and she just, it was a slight brush, and I think the horses overreacted, but as I say, she copped a little bit of a holiday, and it went away after getting that split turning for home, where a couple of the runners up front had spent a little bit of petrol, but really they had no excuses. And she won by about a length and a half, beating a $20 chance Watson, who it settled down last and made a run around the field. Looked a chance when they turned for home, but the winner was too strong. And another roughie in the race, Musical Lady, although it was $12 out to $18, back into $15, $16, it ran third, beaten 2.3. The runners that put their hand up in the air here were Marja resuming from a spell, very well back, $6 given on a board on the fence. In the flux, only $5. Did start $4.80, hard to get. $4.60 it started, and it was always up near the lead, sitting outside Ad Victoriam, and the both of them put their hand up on the turn. They said, "We can't breathe," and they went the other way, copped a bit of a prat. And Boxenborough, another runner, well, it sat fourth in the run. It was $4.60 out to $7.50 at one stage. You laid a couple of good bets against it to lose a couple of thousand each time. When Blake Shin said, T. Berry, stable rider, wrote it. When he said, "Come on, we've got to get going here and catch these leaders," it put up the white flag, and he eased it down from the 500-metre mark. The vets ran their hands over it a couple of times, couldn't find anything wrong with it, and it only got beat 23.9 lengths. You take the bridle off it and say, "See you later." You wouldn't take it home. Doubt not, it copped a bit of a prat in the run, but wouldn't have won fired out of the cannon. The winner by far was the best run. Race 5, 105.2 on the screen, only 99% in the marketplace. Now, I don't know about the other captains, but this favourite, Runaway, I haven't, Mike Clark never wrote his name in the ledger for me. Runaway, opened up $1.70 off a couple of good trials and good form for this race. Was $2.50 begging at the finish, not a penny for it. James McDonald, the kid from New Zealand, fully fledged rider now, one of the best riders in the world. He said it never travelled. When they put it in the gates, it did get its leg up over the gate for a short period of time, pulled it back down. They took it out. The vet ran his hand over it. He said, no, there's nothing wrong with it. Threw it back in the gates, and off it went. He slightly missed the kick. Hunted through on the inside. Was under pressure well before the turn. It did drop out and run last, beaten 12.5 lengths. And he said it never really travelled on him, and it has to trial again before it starts. Now, the winner of the race, Midnight Mix, $6 was given on the fence. $6 started $5.50, started $5.50, but it was into $5 at one stage, always very firm in the market. The pros, they bet completely around the favourite here. They found Inherited, opened up $11, got out to 13, back into $9, back three times, I laid it three times, and it's only just failed. It sat outside Runaway to the turn. It was always going to be near the lead, Inherited, as we all know. Ridden by Nash, gave it every possible chance. He went full ball before the turn, got to the lead, and sailing down the outside from second last position was Midnight Mix, ridden by the other good kid from New Zealand, Jay Collette, and it came down the outside and beat him by 0.4 of a length on the line. Fairly strong win, as I say, came from second last. Other runners that the pros found were Chow, number 3, opened up 5. I must admit I didn't think it was in the race. It's easy now. Got to $8.50, but only started about $5.50, 9 to 2, very well backed. I laid it at $8, $7.50 and $7 and $6.50. Falvesa, another one found by the pros, opened up $15, 14 to 1, got out to $19, but only started around about the $9 mark, 8 to 1. Excuse me. Little Vicky, a little bit of section frit at $17, into 15. Smash Hit, a little bit of section frit as well, $15 given, into about 13. And the other 3 runners never had prices. Drop of Magic, 20s out to 40s. And the bottom pair, Spellbinding and She'll Have a Go, both 30 to 1 out to 60 to 1 when they jumped. As I say, only 99% given. And the favourite, as I say, don't know whether the other captains laid it. I never got a caser out of it. And what do you say? Race 6, 109.3 on the screen. Marketplace, 104, but the race, not worth a drink of water. They returned this favourite, King of Olympia, trained by Gay, ridden by Nash, 10 to 9 on, $1.90. I was $2.10, 10 to 9 against when they jumped. Couldn't find anybody to say $11 to 10 about it. Nash was drawn wide. He copped a bit of a prat at the start, and he had to make plenty of use of it out wide. He velodromed before the turn, actually, and finish up getting to the lead. But as I say, the tank was running on empty coming towards the turn. He did say that it never travelled real well, and it was making a bit of a respiratory noise pulling up or in the run. And the vet ran his hand over it and couldn't find anything wrong with it. And it's the last time it'll start favourite. And to finish up, it dropped out and it ran 5th, beaten 7.4 lengths. Now, there were quite a few. There were 3 other runners back. No, there were only the 2 runners back. 2 runners back besides the favourite. Favourite at one stage, I must admit, you could have laid it at the $2.10. I missed it trying to catch it shorter, and I paid the penalty. As I say, it was $2.10 when they jumped and couldn't write its name. The winner, by the same token, the horse coming from New Zealand, who had had one start over in the shaky, in the land of the white, long white cloud. In a victory over there in a fairly weak race, it was $6 out to $9. So it was a result for captains, and it settled down in last position. And he got onto the back of the horse to finish up running second, Christy Lee McDonald, and tailed Corey Brown into the race. And he finished up nabbing on the line, beating him only by 0.2 of a length. It was a good margin back to Red Dynamite, who was by far the best runner backed in the race. It ran third. It was always up near the lead, Red Dynamite. It led on the fence early in the piece, but then Nash was crossed it on the favourite, and then turning for home, he was able to get around Nash and actually get to the lead. But then very quickly, Christy Lee had made a run from second last, swooped up and got the lead. And as I said, on the line, the winner, Done Deal, it grabbed it as well. It grabbed it on the line to beat it by 0.2 of a length. Repeating myself, and Red Dynamite, as I say, was the best back runner in the race. Opened up $6.50, got out to $7. Only started $4.80. It was a funny race. Very little action in the ring. Only very few usual suspects there, even though it was an ATC meeting held at Wyong, and it is a Wednesday. You think you get a few people getting there. And Red Dynamite, I suppose it went fairly poorly. As I say, $7 given, only started, no, I said $4.80, only started $4.40. I laid it, the biggest bet I laid against was 2,500 at $5, but had laid it before that and after that, so I averaged it out a bit. But as I say, it would have been handy if I would have been able to find a customer for the favourite, which I couldn't, King of Olympia. That's about all I'd say there. And then come the last, on the Flux Green, 105.8. In the we played Swai with the punters here. Not that you could lay in, half of the runners by the same token. We played Swai with them only offering 100 at top odds, less the Toyotas. The favourite was layable. I laid it at bookies. The favourite was the horse that ran second, City of Light, led on the fence, ridden by Tommy Berry. Set a nice solid pace, with the last general coming across and sitting on its outside, who used a bit of petrol up in the run. Ran a fair race, the last general, improved on its last couple of runs. I suppose on top of the ground might have helped it a bit. As I say, the favourite, City of Light, was layable. Opened up, we put it up the $1.90, $1.80 mark, and it got to $2.30, which was taken by the pros, and the 2.20 and the 2.10. I joined in at 2.10 and the evens for a bit of section. Did start $2.10, and as I say, it was the closest any leader got all day. It led on the fence and only went down by the half a length. Sitting behind it on the fence, and at one stage, good 2.5 lengths behind it, from barrier 3, was the winner, High on Believing, trained by Waller. Gay, the two leading trainers, Cornell of the race. It was, as I say, sat behind the favourite on the fence, turning for home. Huey persevered he couldn't get off the fence, persevered for a run inside the favourite, which eventually came after getting squeezed up a little bit, and as I've said a minute ago, beat it by a half a length on the line. Was extremely well back, the winner. Opened up, the betting went up 5-4 on and twos, so we had 88 in the two. Knew other runners in the race weren't going to have prices, but the winner did get out to $4.20, only started the $3.50, extremely well back. The pros took the $4.20 and the $4 and the $3.80. And running third in the race was the third pick, Pitt Street, who opened up $6.50, got out to $8, into $7 at one stage, but back out to $8 towards the end of betting. The other runners, I tell you, this is how they actually started. Pitt Street $8, from the vault, didn't have a price. $12 out to $19. High unbelieving started $3.50 after 4.20 was bet. How do you do it? $31 bet 3,100 started 26. $2.30 bet the favourite, only started 2.10. $151 a Detallion. $101 the last general, taken at one stage but started that price. Emeritus $31. $17 given Camazon Warrior, only started the $10. And Chi Chi 31 out to 71, the bottom one was scratch, around about 100, not worth a penny, and the winner $4.20 into $3.60. It was a tough meeting. Without complaining, the game's getting, everybody's talking about it, the game's getting tougher and tougher and tougher. This filthy Betfair is controlling the marketplace at the moment, and it's guiding everybody. I wish they'd POQ back to Pommyland and leave us alone, but I don't think that's going to happen. The game is getting tougher and tougher every single day. Anyway, it's no good complaining. We've got to try and survive and keep the game going. The Who's tomorrow are at Hawkesbury. Hope you have some luck if you have a bet there, and I'll do a preview tomorrow night for what it's worth. Good evening.